Are you getting ready for your next event and you are wondering what the difference is between a perfect cue and a clicker on your AV order? Or maybe you're a speaker and you're confused about what is the difference between a perfect cue and a clicker. Well, I'm here to explain those to you. I'm going to talk about what each of them are, the different use cases for each, and help you feel just a little bit better informed about what speaker tools are available and the best fit for your event from the AV perspective. Before we jump into it, I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based in Seattle, Washington, but I execute events here and all over the world. I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. I'm also the co-host of the Better Events podcast with fellow event pro Mary Davidson. We dive even more into some of these topics that I talk about here on YouTube. Think episodes about stage managing, show calling, event programming. What does an event planner even do? We have episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're also watching this video and it's still 2024, I am hosting the 2024 Better Events Conference, December 18th and 19th. We're doing the 18th in person in Tacoma, Washington, just outside Seattle, and the 19th is virtual. It is a conference for event professionals, so if this sounds like it's the right fit for you, visit bettereventspod.com/conference to learn more. All right, so perfect cue and clicker. I'm going to define each term, and then we're going to talk about the use cases. And the reason for this video is similar to last week's about the speaker timer, is these are just words and jargon I think we throw around a bit, and sometimes it doesn't get defined. So if you're not the person, if this is your first time thinking about these things, you're gonna be like, Logan, I don't know what the difference is. What is it? And if you are someone who makes some of these decisions, it can help you just ask better questions of your AV team or production partner. So a perfect cue and a clicker both essentially do the same job, which is, and kind of most of you might know, let's first talk about a clicker. A clicker is usually an item in the speaker's hand that allows them to click through their slides. So it allows them to hold a remote while they're on stage and it advances their slides. So often when I hear the word clicker though, I'm thinking a little bit of a smaller production. You can buy a clicker online. I will link to the one I have on Amazon. That's just like a Logitech clicker. It's $30 to buy it. It's USB, so you plug it into your laptop and then you have a little clicker in your hand to advance your slides. And it just saves you the step of having to walk over to your laptop and hit next. You can go forward, you can go backward. It sometimes has a little laser pointer in it. And it's a very simple functionality. Now, the key difference between a clicker and a perfect cue is actually the name of a brand, like, with Band-Aids, we talk about what a perfect cue is. It is from a brand called D-San. They provide the timers I talked about last week, and they have a lot of AV products you're going to see at a lot of different events. But I Googled it because this is something that I love to do when I have to define a term that I do know, but I have not actually dove into exactly what it is. So here's our definition. Perfect Cue is a wireless audio and visual cueing system that can remotely control presentations on either one or two computers. There's one, your alarm bell should go off. And the communication between the transmitter and the cue light is a solid 300 feet. So this is what a perfect cue looks like. You're probably, if you're a speaker, you're familiar with that small part you see in the person's hand, but that talks to this larger box that's like the cue light. And that is like the crucial part of this. Your clicker, your Logitech Pro clicker, plugs into your laptop, you click, and it just advances your slides. That's just what it does. With a perfect cue, you have a couple more capabilities. It's more robust than a USB clicker. That 300 feet is an important part because with a USB clicker, your range is not that far. You need to be kind of advancing a laptop. Your laptop's on the podium and you're walking around the stage, you'll be fine. Or your laptop's in the front row, you'll be fine. You will not see a USB Logitech clicker in the hand of someone doing a massive keynote for thousands or hundreds of people. This is where you need to have a perfect cue because you need that 300 feet. Now, this clicker can do two things. One, it can actually drive the slides, just like the Logitech clicker, which when I say drive, meaning when I click forward, my slides go forward. What I've seen at some of my more robust corporate shows, my bigger budget shows, what they actually have to do is the clicker talks to a cue light, which you can see there. It has a green arrow, forward arrow, and a red backward arrow. And what that means is that the speaker is clicking. When they click forward, that green arrow lights up, and then there's another human at the tech table. Usually there's a whole tech area behind the stage for these bigger shows, and then that human is hitting next slide. Now, why would you break that up? Why wouldn't you make it so your slides would immediately auto advance? This is usually a fail-safe that I've had my larger events put in because it wants to avoid a presenter who maybe gets nervous or just absentmindedly double clicks and they didn't mean to. And if their clicker was auto advancing the slides would click twice. If we've rehearsed it and your person back there, your graphics operator, knows that that speaker has more to say about those slides, even if they see that green light click twice, they won't advance. So it's just while it's another layer of humans and people, it's also another layer of kind of protection and security. And this is a scenario where you would hear as like a show caller or a producer on headset, the graphics operator would say, they're clicking, do you want me to advance? And usually the show caller, the producer, and on some of these shows I've produced, I'm next to the client, I can go, they're clicking, do you want me to advance? They go like, no, that's an accident. So that just Perfect Cue gives you a little extra layer. So the big thing is Perfect Cue goes farther distances than a USB clicker. So it's really nice for a Perfect Cue is really necessary if you're putting your graphics computer in the back of the room at your tech table. Your USB clicker can only reach so far. But a USB clicker is also great if you're just bringing your laptop and the laptop lives on the stage and you're just walking around the stage. You can get away with that solution. And that's why I see a lot of professional speakers nowadays have their own clicker and they'll bring that with them. If they're planning on putting their laptop on stage with them, that's a great solution. But any bigger, larger room, larger distances, you need a Perfect Cue system. And so this is something that, again, your AV company should allow you to rent. It shouldn't be wildly expensive, but we are talking at least a couple $100. Depending on the company, depending if it's in-house or external. If you're at a hotel, it should be ideally a week rental, not a daily rental for that equipment. But again, that varies for the different company. And then here you can purchase it for just under $1,000. But I don't really recommend you doing that if you're an event like organizer. Again, it seems like it's a good idea, but then some organizations or some vendors might not want to use your system. They can't troubleshoot it. It's also nice is with the Perfect Cue is you can have multiple clickers for one cue light. So you can have a main clicker and a backup clicker, which is just really nice versus a USB clicker is just a one-to-one. It's one input with one clicker. So, we love backup plans. So that Perfect Cue system just sets you up for a little bit more flexibility. Well, hopefully that's taught you a little bit more about what a Perfect Cue is versus a clicker. Again, you'll see them used interchangeably, but from an AV order perspective, you do really want to dive in and ask, is it a Perfect Cue system? Is it a USB clicker? And maybe even just say, hey, I want the speaker to be able to run their slides, but I want those slides to be on a laptop in the back of the room and the speakers on stage. What's the best fit for my room? And your AV tech should be able to answer that for you. You also just want to make sure you think about a clicker. That's my pro tip for you. I feel like a lot of organizers forget about this and then they get on site and it's like, oh, you don't have a clicker? That's probably also why some speakers carry their own clicker with them because they have always assumed there's a clicker available, shown up at an event, and they don't have a clicker. So that's why they carry their own USB Logitech one. I love a backup plan, so I have my own that I bring. But again, that's only a good solution for smaller rooms, breakouts. It's not going to help you in your big keynote or hundreds or thousands of persons event. So hope that helps. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Logan Clements, and I'll be back with you again in my next video. Bye.